Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning into the North Main Minute. I'm Joshua Dobie. A huge question with which, unfortunately, we are working every week, literally, either with clients directly or on behalf of clients, perhaps if we're working with their children, has to do with the idea of planning for seniors or planning for folks who may be in the later stages of life. And the biggest item that's usually out there is in talking about how to address some assisted living or nursing home expenses. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But a couple of items that you may want to keep in mind. If you are a child who's helping to care for an aging parent, or if you're in that space of moving through your retirement years and you're wanting to do some things in order to think correctly about financially the kinds of decisions that are important to make, this may be for you. First item to keep in mind, when you can, whether you are that person or if you are a child who is helping mom or dad or another person for whom you are responsible, do the planning in advance if you can help it. Now, I get it. There are times when, especially with a family member, they may go from being in a space of being relatively healthy to moving towards an assisted living or nursing home space very quickly. I've been there with a number of clients. Literally, we've had a couple of conversations this week as of the time of this recording and having those very, very tough conversations. And you got to make those decisions on the fly, and I get that. But when you can, make those decisions or do that planning in advance because you can look at a much broader array of options and you can work through some of the dynamics of the decision-making process in advance. Second big item to keep in mind, and I know this is not going to be particularly interesting until it directly impacts you, be aware of tax law. Now, you may be saying, well, what does taxes have to do with planning when we get into the later stages of retirement? Well, I'm not going to get into the details right here, but there are a number of different issues tax-wise, whether it's the deductibility of medical expenses, whether it's the possibility for a step up in capital gains, in cost basis for particular capital assets when folks pass away, what that may mean for you from a tax standpoint. There still are a handful of states in the country that have a state inheritance tax. What does that mean as far as planning is concerned? And there are a whole array of other options as well. But where you can, do some of that planning in advance and be aware of what the tax laws may be. Because you may make a particular decision that is disadvantageous to you, even though you may be doing it for all of the right reasons in terms of wanting to be helpful, but it may not be helpful to you from a tax standpoint. We see that all the time here at North Main Financial Group. And then the third big item, you heard me mention it at the front end of this particular North Main Minute, you want to be mindful of the constant bogey possibility of long-term care, whether it's assisted living or nursing home. Friends, there's no easy answer to that. I've been doing this business over 25 years. Every single conversation I have about it is challenging. There is no easy way to slot how to address the long-term care question. There are several different planning avenues that you can take. They all have their pros and cons. And again, if you can, try to have those conversations and make those decisions in advance of need. I know, again, it's not always easy or even possible to do that, but where you can, make sure you take advantage of that. If you'd like to reach out to us at North Main Financial Group to talk about this very challenging subject, and it is very challenging. It's one of the most challenging conversations and one of the most challenging planning points that we have here at North Main. Love to chat about it with you, northmainfinancial.com.